My sister expects me to pay child support because I'm childless. I never thought I'd be in this position, arguing with my own sister over something that feels completely unreal. My name is Rachel. I'm 28, and I've never had children. My younger sister, Jessica, is 26 and has a 5-year-old son named Lucas. Growing up, Jessica was always a bit entitled, but I never expected her to take things this far. It all started a few weeks ago. Jessica called me out of the blue, sounding unusually serious. "Rachel, I need to talk to you about something important," she said. I assumed it was about a family gathering or maybe a birthday plan for Lucas. I had no idea the conversation would turn my world upside down. When I met her at the coffee shop, she didn't waste time. "I think it's fair that you start contributing to Lucas's expenses," she said, sliding a little envelope toward me. I blinked, completely confused. "Excuse me?" I asked. She leaned back, giving me that self-assured look she's always had, like she already knew the answer. "You know, child support. Since you don't have kids, you should help me take care of mine." I felt my heart stop. I laughed nervously, thinking maybe she was joking, but her expression didn't change. "I'm serious, Rachel. You have a good job, you make money, and Lucas deserves a stable life. You're family, so it's only fair." My hands shook slightly as I held my coffee cup. This wasn't just crazy. It felt like a betrayal. I tried to reason with her, my voice trembling. "Jess, I don't have children. I'm not Lucas's parent. I love him. I adore him. But legally and morally, I can't be responsible for child support." She waved her hand dismissively. "That's just semantics. You have the ability to help, so you should." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I thought our family was close. I thought Jessica knew better than to demand this from me. My mind raced. Was this really happening? Was she serious? Or had I misheard her? I had always been the responsible one, the one she leaned on financially before. But this? This was different. This was outrageous. As she went on, listing bills and monthly expenses, I realized she had actually done the math. She had added up Lucas's daycare, his toys, his clothes, and even his extracurricular classes. Then she calculated a monthly amount she expected me to pay. My stomach turned. It was not a small number. This was more than a suggestion. It was an expectation. I left the coffee shop shaking. On my way home, I kept asking myself how my sister could even think this was acceptable. I wanted to scream, to cry, to hit something, but I forced myself to breathe. I had to think. I had to plan. I couldn't stop thinking about her text. I stared at my phone for what felt like an hour, rereading the message over and over. "You owe me for my son. You were supposed to help me, it's only fair." My stomach twisted. I have never had a child. I barely manage my own finances. How could she even think this was okay? I tried calling her, but she didn't pick up. I left a voicemail, carefully phrasing my words, trying to stay calm. "I'm happy to help if you need advice or support, but I cannot and will not pay child support for a child that is not mine." No response. I felt my blood pressure spike. The next day, she showed up at my apartment. She was smiling, like she expected me to laugh along with her ridiculous joke. "So, I guess you'll write me a check now?" she said, waving her phone with a spreadsheet. I froze. A spreadsheet. It detailed everything from groceries to school fees to her child's extracurriculars, and at the bottom, it totaled an amount that made my jaw drop. I can't do that," I said slowly, trying not to scream. "I'm not your child's parent. This isn't legal. You can't just demand money from me because you think it's fair." She rolled her eyes. "Legal? Come on. Family should help each other. You have the means I don't. You owe me." I felt my hands shake. I've always tried to be the good sister, the supportive one. But this was crossing every line I thought existed. "Owe you? I never agreed to anything like this. I have my own life, my own bills. You can't just take money from me because it's convenient for you." Her smile faltered, replaced with something colder. "Convenient? I'm raising a child here. You think you're the only one struggling? I'm doing everything alone, and you could make a difference." I wanted to scream, but instead I took a deep breath. "You know what? I'll help in ways I can. Babysitting, advice, emotional support, yes. Money? Never. I am not responsible for your choices, and I will not be bullied into paying for your child just because I don't have one." Her face hardened, and she stormed out. I slammed the door behind her and sank onto my couch, my heart racing. This isn't just about money. It's about boundaries, about respect. And for the first time, I wondered, has she always seen me as a wallet instead of a sister? Over the next few days, I tried to avoid her. I didn't answer her texts unless absolutely necessary, and I stopped going to family gatherings where I knew she'd be. But the situation wasn't going away. She started messaging our relatives, subtly implying that I was selfish and refusing to help her child. Suddenly, I was the villain in my own family. At first, I tried to explain myself calmly. I said, "I love my nephew, but I cannot pay for him. That is not my responsibility." Some relatives nodded, but others gave me these looks like I was heartless. "It's just money," they'd say. "You can afford it." I wanted to scream. It's not about money, it's about principle. One evening, she texted again, this time more aggressively. "You don't care about family. If you won't pay, don't expect to see your niece or nephew again." I felt my chest tighten. I don't have children, but she was threatening my relationship with my other nieces and nephews. My anger boiled over. I replied firmly, "You cannot use children as leverage. I will not be coerced into giving money that isn't mine. Respect my boundaries, or I will have to distance myself for my own well-being." She didn't respond that night, but the next morning my phone was flooded with calls and messages. She had gone to our parents, telling them I was being cruel and selfish. I had to call my mom and explain my side, trying not to cry. "Mom, I love my nephew. I'm happy to support him in ways I can, but I am not his parent. I cannot pay for him. This is not fair or legal." My mom sighed, the tension palpable even over the phone. "I know, sweetie, but she's your sister. She's upset, and it's hard for her to see it from your side." I understood that, but it didn't make it right. Family loyalty didn't mean I had to accept being financially blackmailed. By the end of that week, I decided to set firm boundaries. I drafted a message. "I will not provide financial support for your child. I will continue to love and support my family in ways I am capable of. But this stops now. Any further demands for money will not be entertained." I hit send, feeling both relief and fear. I knew this wouldn't end the conflict. She might escalate, try to involve lawyers, or continue bad-mouthing me. But for the first time, I felt like I was standing up for myself. I had spent too long avoiding confrontation, too long trying to please everyone. This was my line. The weekend brought another family gathering, and I knew she'd be there. My heart pounded as I walked in. She spotted me immediately, her eyes narrowing. I felt a rush of anxiety, but also resolve. I would not let her bully me this time. She approached me, voice sharp. "I can't believe you. You're going to ruin your relationship with all of us over a few $100s. I took a deep breath and met her gaze. "I am not ruining anything. I'm standing by my principles. I will support my family emotionally. I will spend time with my nephew, but I will not pay for him. That is not my responsibility." Her lips trembled, and for a moment, I thought she might yell, but she just glared and stormed off. I heard muttering behind me, relatives whispering, some sympathetic, some judgmental. My chest was tight, but I didn't back down. Later, my mom pulled me aside. "I know it's hard, but she's your sister. You have to try to find a compromise." I shook my head. "Mom, Compromise would mean paying her child support. That's not compromise, that's surrender. I will not give in. I love my family, but I cannot sacrifice my boundaries. By the end of the day, I realized the gathering had been a test. Some relatives understood, some didn't. But for the first time, I felt I had asserted myself without guilt. I spent time with my nephew, playing games, laughing, sharing stories, while keeping her at a distance. It felt strange, almost liberating. When I got home, I found another message from her. "You'll regret this. You'll see your childless life means nothing without money from family." I stared at my phone, anger and sadness swirling. I typed back carefully. "My life has meaning beyond finances. I love my family and my nephew. I will continue to be part of his life, but I will not be coerced into paying money that is not mine. This is final." Sending that message, I felt a weight lift. For years, I had tried to please everyone, avoid conflict, and protect family harmony. But standing firm didn't make me selfish. It made me human. She could continue to be angry, but I knew I was protecting myself, my principles, and my peace of mind. Months passed, and the tension didn't disappear completely, but it shifted. My sister didn't reach out for money again, though she occasionally made pointed comments at family events. I stayed calm, refusing to engage in arguments or defend myself unnecessarily. I realized that silence and consistency were my strongest allies. My nephew continued to be a bright spot in my life. I spent weekends with him, helping with homework, taking him to the park, and watching his favorite cartoons. Our bond grew stronger, and I felt proud knowing I was contributing to his life in meaningful ways, without the financial entanglement my sister wanted. Family gatherings were still tricky. Some relatives quietly sided with her, hinting that I should help. Others admired my stance, quietly supporting my decision. I learned to navigate conversations carefully, steering topics away from money, and focusing on shared memories and moments that actually mattered. One evening, after a birthday party for my nephew, my sister pulled me aside. Her voice was quieter than usual. I was wrong to demand money from you. I guess I thought it was easy, that you had no responsibilities. I see now that you've been giving him your time and love, and that means more than anything else." I nodded, keeping my expression neutral. "I'm glad you understand. I will always be part of his life. Money was never the issue. Love and presence are. It wasn't a perfect reconciliation, but it was progress." I realized that setting boundaries didn't mean I loved my family any less. It meant I respected myself. I had stopped being a doormat and had begun building relationships on respect rather than obligation. Looking back, I understood how easy it had been to feel pressured, to internalize guilt, and to let someone else dictate the terms of my life. Standing firm had been difficult, lonely at times, but ultimately liberating. I could be generous with my time, my attention, my heart, without giving away my financial independence. By the next family gathering, the tension had eased noticeably. My sister avoided confrontations, and I focused on enjoying moments with my nephew, laughing with cousins, and sharing stories with my parents. For the first time, I felt a sense of balance. I was part of my family on my own terms. I learned that love, care, and family bonds are measured by presence, not money. And for me, that lesson was priceless.